We're in Perek Gimel Halacha Dalet, Hilchos Chanukah. The Rambam begins, Kol shechayim b'kriyas ha-Megillah chayim b'Halakas Ner Chanukah. Everyone who has to say, hear the Megillah on Purim, is also chayim b'Halakas Ner Chanukah. What's the connection? So let's go look below. Where do you get this? From the Maggid Mishnah side, Shabbos, Chov Gimel, Amud Aleph. Among Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Noshim women are chayav b'ner Chanukah because it's a time-related mitzvah. Shavei noya b'oisa nes, because they too were in that nes, and everyone, for men, are definitely chayav, and cheresh shod v'kotten apota. So it's just like Megillah. Hilchos Megillah, he says, everyone's chayav to hear the kriya. Noshim anoshim gerim avodim mishuchorim, slaves that were freed. And we also mechanchem aktanim lekroisai. We teach our children to be used to reading it. Noshim achayevas b'megillah, v'nechal b'dal koises, which is also drabanan, because the f hein hoyu ba'isa hanes. So as we learned in Megillah, there's two reasons why it's called. They were involved with the Nes, either because it affected them or because they were the cause of the Nes happening. Nes Purim through Esther, Nes Chanukah through Yehudis, that chopped off the head of the legion that wanted to, the Greek legion that wanted to defile her. And also, in Mitzrayim we went out in Chus Noshim Zikonias, and there were those who explained that they were the edict of Shmad, of conversion. The Bnei Binyamin points out that the Rambam doesn't say we teach children to be light near Chanukah. Maybe the reason is because that's totally the Rabbanon, not like Megillah, which is a Takonos Nevi'im. Therefore, there's no obligation. The Shulchan Aruch codifies the Halacha that a woman lights near Chanukah because she's also obligated with it. But if Cheresh did it, it's nothing. And they can't be moitzi others. That's what it means when it's nothing, even though you see the candle lit. And there are those who say shekotten, who comprehends what he's doing. It is, what does he mean mutter here? It seems to be he can fulfill the obligations of others. And he ends, the kotten of God is of the age of chinuch, you must light. Now the Rambam continues, the one who lights it in the first night, he makes three brachos. What are they? We don't have to realize that there are different parts to the bracha. Brachat Hashem is one part. The is the second part. Is the third part. And Chanukah is Ner Shel Chanukah. He says, say it as one word. There are those who say Ner Chanukah, not Shel Chanukah. The Meiser Kiach means a machloikis as to what the bracha is. The Shulchan Aruch says Lahadik Ner Chanukah without the shell. The Mishnah Berurah cites the Gemara and many other halachic quotes of Ner Shel Chanukah. The Mashal is the opinion that's one word, Shel Chanukah. The Godim says people were at Makpid. The minig and Makubal is to say Ner Shel Chanukah. But Svardim and Chasidim, who are not like the Ari, say Ner Chanukah. Everyone who has a minig should continue to do his minig avoisov. Now, there's a mitzvah to say some mitzvahs, some brachos say lehonich tefillin, and there are those who would say al netilas lulav. And Shabbos we have the nusach is lahadlik ner shel Shabbos with a lamed, not al hadlokas neros. But Yerushalmi, the nusach is al hadlokas neros Chanukah, not lahadlik ner Chanukah. Those brachos, the Rambam says netilas yadayim, shchita is something that's permissible, and as you don't have to do it. Therefore, you say ala shchita. Because not everybody is obligated by it. The Ravid objects that you make a bracha, that the rule is you make a bracha of al, we'll turn the page, I'll make her Megillah, even though it's obligatory. So how can you say it has to do with whether you have to or you don't have to do it? And you can't say that every mitzvah Rabbanon is considered rishus, and that's why you say al, because when Ner Chanukah you say lahadlik. You don't say al hadlok is Ner Chanukah. It's only Rabbanon. And maybe it could be because there is no limit to it. In other words, technically you only have to light one Ner every night. But the Mahadran add, or it could be because the brocha was established for the neighbors in the Migdosh, which is Minat Torah. Therefore, they made it like Torah to say lehadlik. Now we go back to the Rambam. The Rambam says, "Borah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam, Shosani Aviseinu Yom Ha'im Hazman Hazeh." The second is the second brocha. Also in Kriyas HaMegillah, you say it in the same way. And the first night of Chanukah, you make a brocha also. Borah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam, Shechiyonu Kiyimonu Yonu Hazman Hazeh. The Maggid Mishnah cites the source as being Shabbos, Chov Gimel V'Alf, to say Shechiyonu. Agos Maimonides cites Masechta Seifrim, that after you light it, you say Haneros Halolo Onam Alikim Ala Yeshuas Valanisim Al Neflois. Asher Osis Lav Yisenu. It's a bit different than the nusach that we have, which you did for our forefathers through the Kahanim. Chashmani Zimei Chanukah Haneros Halolo Kodesh. Ve'enonu Rishus L'Shtamish L'Oiron El L'Roisim Bavad. One is not permitted to benefit from them, to utilize their light, rather only to benefit from them, to see them, the spiritual concept. In order, then you say Shechiyonu, Yeshua. That's the Maram said it. So they used to say Al Haneros Halolu even before the brachas. The Nachlas Yaakov says you should do like the Rambam states. You should make the three brachas, and before you light. Shulchan Aruch writes that after you light, you should say Haneros Halolu. The Mishnah Berurah says in 676 that one should say Haneros Halolu after you make the brachas, and you light the first ner, or as you're lighting it, because that's the main one, and you should continue the adloka while he's saying Haneros Halolu. That's obviously the other nights. He cites the Marashal that there's 36 words in Haneros Halolu, just as many as there are 36 lech every night of Chanukah. Besides the words Haneros Halolu, meaning Haneros Halolu Heim Lamed Vov. They are 36. Tevis Haneros Halolu, there's 8 letters that he means without the Vov between the Reish and the Tov of Haneros, which are a hint at the 8 days of Chanukah. Nashar Hatziani writes, you shouldn't say Kodesh Haim, because then it'll cause it to be 37 words. Shavua ends that you do say Haneros Halolu after, if you do it after you lit everything, don't worry about it, it's also good minik. Now the Rambam continues. Somebody sees it. There's Chanukah. He didn't make a brocha yet. He makes 2 brochas on the first night. He doesn't make lahadlik, which he does not make a brocha of lahadlik. And the other nights, the madlik is mevor shtayim. Lahadlik b'shosanisim. And the one who sees it makes 1 bracha shosanisim. You don't say Shechiyonu only the first night. Maggid Mishnah cites Shabbos. This is the source in 23a that somebody who sees it makes 2 brachas of Shosanisim and Shechiyonu, because he's recognizing the Nes, since he hasn't lit himself. And the Rambam explains that he didn't make a bracha yet, even though others lit for him in his house. So therefore he has fulfilled his mitzvah. When he sees it, he has to make the bracha, because he himself did not make a bracha yet. He didn't light. And he cites the Rashba, Only somebody who didn't light. They didn't light for him in his house. He's not going to be light that night. Makes a bracha biras haroya. Because we don't ever find that a person should be yotze mitzvah. Meaning they lit for him in his house, so therefore he's not lighting, and he should still make a bracha on seeing it. And the Rashba points out there are those who say that even though you do light, he was lit in the house, you do make a bracha, but he disagrees with them. And he brings to the Bala Ito, you make a bracha only if he is in a wagon or a ship and he didn't light in his house. Like Mishnah, that he's not going to light later either. Otherwise, you would have a problem. Is to when you come home, Hashem people light at different times. Like whereas Maimonides understood the intent of the Rambam, they didn't make a bracha, he didn't do the mitzvah, and that's what Rashi writes. Hashem Rib Yehuda Tiknu bracha zula mishlo yitlik adayin. Rashi says they hadn't yet lit, or to somebody's in a boat. It would seem that that's the case. Even if he's going to light, he would make the brachas now. What would Rashi do? And then he lights without a bracha. And he cites in the Sefer HaMitzvahs, he would make only the bracha of lahadlik, not the other bracha of Shos Nisim. In the Sefer HaMitzvahs, only if he's not married, we make a biras haroya, because if he's married, his wife lights for him, and that's like he lit himself. I mean, Simcha Avyo, right? If he intends to light in his house, he should not light. He should not make the bracha on seeing until he takes care. Until he makes the brachas all on the Chanukah left in his house, and like in Sukkah, you don't make a bracha shechionu. When you do the bracha esiyoso until the first night, and he makes the order on the case of Kiddush. He doesn't make the bracha of shechionu even though you walked into the sukkah. You wait till you have the case of Kiddush. Going to the next page. Sovnas Paneach at the top of the page says, it says that by other mitzvahs like Lulav and Sukkah, they didn't have a bracha haroya. Only B'nei Chanukah, because of the love for the Nes. Because there are people that don't have, and therefore, in order that they should be able to complete the mitzvah, they can make a bracha on somebody else's. There are those who give another reason, that you cannot make a bracha on something that Since on the other mitzvahs you don't say Shos Nisim Aviseinu, therefore you can't say that somebody who doesn't do the action should make the bracha when the person doing the action doesn't make the bracha. From the second answer, it would seem that it's only inferred for somebody that has no house, but it's because of Chavivus Hanes. And he asks why, if that's the case, somebody who didn't hear Kriyas Megillah shouldn't say Shos Nisim, and the answer is that the one who sees it makes on the Nes of Nitzochen. So again, this is would depend on whether there's a concept within the Necht. Even those who say that the 8 days is because of the Neiros, but there's still a recognition of the victory over the Yevon. Rashi in Sukkah 46a says that Ner Chanukah you make a bracha shechionu, and then Shos Nisim. It's Sovnas Paneach has a question from the Gemara. And Megillah, you make a bracha before the Megillah, Shos Nisim, and then shechionu. Why should it be different on Chanukah? And he answers that Rashi is of the opinion Nisim is going on both things, on Neros and on the day. And the bracha, and by Purim, the bracha is only on the Megillah. Yeah, but the shechionu of Chanukah is after the first two brachas. But we do it. We do it at the end. Furthermore, the Mechaber says from the first night and further, he makes two brachas. Lahadlik and Shos Nisim. The Ramah says And you should say all the brachas before he begins to light it, because that's the rule by all mitzvahs, that you do it before you accomplish the mitzvah. Mechaber continues, somebody who doesn't light, he's not going to light that night, and nobody's lighting for him in his house. When he sees Ner Chanukah, he says Shos Nisim. And the first night, he says also Shechionu. And afterwards, in the second or third night, he comes to light, he does not make the bracha of Shechionu. Mishnah Berurah adds, if they light for him in that night, he should not make a bracha on seeing it, because he can make on, if he's going to light, on his own bracha, on his own action. And there are those who have an opinion that even if he knows they're lighting for him in his house, since he's not lighting, he's not participating, the Pruta should make the bracha to praise Hashem on the Nes. But one should not do so in actuality, because Savik bracha is lahokah. Sha'atzian, he cites Taz among Avram, Birki Yosef, that the Smag and the Rajba are of the opinion like the Ran, you shouldn't make a bracha as a roya im yoitzi de choivus hadloka, if he's fulfilling his bracha by that which is being done for him in his household. Mr. Hashem will continue the next halacha.